Debt ceiling talks took some new twists and turns at the Capitol today, with time running out to reach a deal. Just one day after President Biden and House Speaker Kevin McCarthy called their meeting at the White House productive, the speaker made clear today that the two sides are actually still nowhere near an agreement. There's a little more than a week left now before the U.S. could face its first ever government default if the nation's borrowing limit is not raised. Treasury will not have all the money it needs to pay the bills. For more on this, Weijia Jiang and Nikole Killion join us now. Weijia is CBS News senior White House correspondent, and Nikole is CBS News congressional correspondent. Welcome to both of you. Nikole, let's start with you on a busy day. A lot of activity on the Hill, and it is really starting to feel like whiplash. 1 minute leaders are saying that these meetings are going well. The next minute we hear that they're going terribly. What's the state of play as you understand it right now?
Well, the state of play is that we still don't have an agreement, and despite hours of negotiating between the Speaker's team and the White House, it seems that both sides are still far apart. I did have a chance to speak with the Speaker earlier today, as well as one of the top Democrats here in the House, about where things currently stand. So to be clear, you're not close to a deal?
Look,
or are you close?
No, they still want to spend more money next year than we spent this year. That's a red line.
I mean, you still think things are far apart?
I do.
I mean, how do you close that gap?
This has always been fully up to the Republican Party. They have manufactured this crisis. They are offering bad choices to the American people. They are saying, let's put our veterans on the chopping block. Let's cut 30 million medical appointments for our veterans, or you can default. That is the crisis they have created.
So whether you're talking to Democratic leaders or Republican leaders, the one thing they are agreeing on right now, Nancy, is that they are still very far apart. That being said, just off camera here, you can't see it, but we are hearing from some members of the Speaker's negotiating team right now. That is Congressman Garrett Graves, as well as Congressman Patrick McHenry, who said that he does really want a deal, but there are just fundamental differences that remain when it comes to these big picture issues of spending. And that's really why these talks seem to be going around and around and around. Congressman Graves said he feels like he's buying a used car. But at the same time, they are continuing to praise the White House negotiators. They do feel that everyone is putting in a good faith effort here. But that being said, it's unclear if they will meet again with White House negotiators tonight or even tomorrow. Congressman Graves telling me right now nothing is scheduled.
And Weijia, we know that right now the White House is offering to keep spending steady for the next 2 years. Republicans want deeper cuts. They want to impose caps for 6 years. And we heard some House Republicans start to argue today that the White House has been showing a lack of urgency in these negotiations. How's the White House responding to that?
The press secretary, Karine Jean-Pierre, was directly asked about this, and she said that was a ridiculous statement and took the opportunity to once again shift the blame to the Republicans, saying, look, it's the House Republicans who dragged their feet on passing a budget which delayed the conversation with the White House. She insisted that the position was always very clear from President Biden, which was he wanted to see the House Speaker's budget proposal. And that is what he said after their first conversation that happened in February. The president showed his proposed budget shortly after that and was demanding to see one from Republicans too, which didn't happen for months later. And so that is why the White House says it's actually the Republicans who dragged their feet on this and put them in this precarious situation where they are now negotiating until the very last minute. But we should remember, Nancy, as you very well know, up until recent weeks, the White House insisted that they wouldn't negotiate at all, that it was a non-starter to even link the debt ceiling discussion with the budget. But of course, that's exactly where we are now. So I think there's plenty of blame to go around, and there will be plenty of conversations after the fact. But right now, they're both trying to get this over the line because both acknowledge what a catastrophe it would be for the economy if they don't.
No question. And Nikole, let's just talk timing for a minute. I mean, Speaker McCarthy says he's committed to giving his members 72 hours to read the bill whenever it's available, whenever there's a deal. It could also take a couple days for this bill to pass the Senate. So if the deadline really is June 1st, they need to cut a deal within the next couple of days, right?
Well, really, the next couple of hours, if you think about it. I mean, the House is due to recess on Thursday. And again, we're still not at the point where we have any type of agreement. And as you very well know, it takes some time to craft that legislation and then let members read that. You know, right now, even members are asking me, well, what are you hearing? Have you heard? Are we going home? Are we staying here? Of course, with the Memorial Day weekend approaching. So, you know, even members themselves are concerned and conflicted about what this will mean. Obviously, they're all committed to trying to get the job done. And the Speaker has said, you know, they will, once they reach an agreement, and get this over the finish line. And if they have to come back over the holiday weekend, so be it. But even in the Senate, you know, many members have acknowledged they're probably going to need at least a week to, you know, hold a vote. And again, right now, the Senate is not in. So that just leaves a couple of days when they return next week. So they really are pressing up against the deadline. But everyone treating this as a very firm deadline in terms of June 1st and taking it very seriously.
And Weijia, if they don't meet that deadline, some Democrats have floated the idea that President Biden could just sidestep this entire showdown by invoking the 14th Amendment, which is something that's never been tried before. You asked the White House press secretary about that. What did she have to say about that option?
Well, initially she said that President Biden made very clear that it is not the solution to the current problem we are in. But that's actually not what he said the last time he spoke publicly about it, which was during his trip to Hiroshima last week. He said that he was looking at that option and that he did believe he had the authority to do it. But the question was whether they could use it in time to avoid a default. Because the issue is he anticipated it would be appealed and that it would get tangled up in court and that there actually wouldn't be enough time to use it before that played out in court to avoid a default. And so after I pointed that out to her, you know, I think she left the door a little bit open that he is still considering it, but she stressed that it is up to Congress to get this done and that the president wants something on his desk to sign.
Not a great plan B, that's for sure. Weijia Jiang and Nikole Killion, thank you so much.